Hi everyone. We're going to go over how to use the SORTN function in Google Sheets. And if you haven't seen my normal sort function video, I recommend checking that out because a lot of the features overlap. But the SORTN function is different in that we select the number of values that we want to be returned to us. So if we want to see the top 5 values or the bottom 5 values in a data set, we can do that. Think of a top 10 list or a bottom 10 list. So what we have on the left-hand side is we have athletes. Let's pretend like we have a basketball team. We have a group of athletes and their positions and their points per game. Let's say that we want to get the top 5 players based on points per game. Right now, it's not sorted that way in this table. So we're going to use equals sort n. And now the first argument that it asks for is a range. And the number of columns that you select in your range will be the number of columns that are returned, that are displayed. So if I select all of this stuff, then when I'm done sorting, all 3 of these columns will be displayed. And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. So let's say that we want that information, comma, the next argument is n. Well, how many do you want to show? Let's say we just want to show 5. Type in the number 5 there. Comma, the next argument is display ties mode. Do you want ties in the data to be displayed? We can say false for now. Comma, and the next argument is sort column. So the top 5 of what? The top 5 based on what do you want? Well, we want the top 5 in points per game in this column here, comma, and the last argument is ascending. In other words, you want it to go from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. If we type in false, we'll get our top 5 point scores. If we type in true, we'll get our bottom 5. Let's type in false because we want our top 5. And I'm going to close off the parenthesis. And what you see after this is you can sort by multiple columns. It isn't just you could sort by points per game, then position. For example, you could have a multi-layered sort. We're not going to do that here. And we will just sort by points per game, top to bottom, top 5, and click enter. And now we have a list of our top 5 points per game scores. But like I said, our range, we selected 3 columns for our range, which means that we're getting 3 columns spat back at us. Now, what if you just want to display the player name and the points per game? Well, how do you do that? Because, there's a column in the middle here that has the position. Well, a lot of people might take the position and move it over to the side and then do the sort column again just with A to B. But there's a better way to do this, and it's using curly brackets. And I went over this a little bit in the original sort video, but just like multiple columns that are not adjacent to one another, you can use curly square brackets to tell Google Sheets to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this range to a curly square bracket, select our data in A, and then do a comma, which tells Google Sheets, okay, now what's the next column that you want that are not adjacent to one another? And they could be adjacent, it's fine. And we want the points per game column, and close the curly square bracket. So now what we're saying is what we want to return are these 2 columns, A and C, which are the player names and the points per game, and we want the top 5 without ties based on the points per game. And we want it going from top to bottom. And if we click enter, now we got rid of that position and we just have the top 5 points per game. Now, what if sometimes you wanted to display top 5, sometimes you wanted to display top 10, and it kind of depends on the context. It might get a little bit annoying to keep on changing this 5 number. Maybe you want the top 10 instead of the top 5. And then maybe another day we want the top 3 and something else. That might get a little bit cumbersome. So what you can do is you can just set it dynamically if you want. So instead of having this equal to 3, you might have an area here where you type in the top 10 or top 5, and you would dictate it based on this cell here. And instead of having this in your sort formula equal 3, you could have it equal to whatever is typed into this cell, and click enter. And now it's displaying the top 5. And this might be a drop down. It might be 5, 10, 15, 20. And maybe we want to see the top 20, which is everybody, or the top 15. Then we can kind of control it from here. So I hope this video was helpful. And in another video, we'll go over more complex sorting functions. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe. That lets YouTube know that this stuff actually provides value for people. And if it doesn't, then don't. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.